wet sanding polishing this ruby credenza, okay? So this is the first time I've ever done a live actually showing people how to do the work live, okay? The idea of this thing is gonna be to show you guys how to do the actual work while allowing you to ask questions while I do this work. So the videos on my channel, on the YouTube channel, get a lot of views. People seem to like that content. So I thought that I would try doing this live for you because I do get a lot of questions about wet sanding, polishing, specifically lacquer, right? So that's what we're gonna go through. I got a whole bunch of goodies over here. I'm gonna move this camera a lot. I'm gonna pull it away. I'm gonna do all kinds of things. So again, this is gonna be an as I go kind of a situation. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna just stick in and kind of wait to see the things you want to see, ask the questions, and as I'm working through here, I will keep an eye on the comments and I will go ahead and interact with people as much as I possibly can. So this process, you know, can take me anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on, you know, how bad the lacquer finish has shrunk, right? And this one's shrunk pretty good, so I'm gonna dig in on my camera and show you guys exactly what this finish looks like. I got all my tools and goodies over here. I'll go over all that stuff with you. And again, y'all have any questions, please feel free to ask. And like I said, the whole point of this is just to do this work and let you guys ask your questions as I'm doing it, because again, it seems like people want to know about this kind of thing. So what do we got here? So let's pull this camera off here. So we have a high gloss lacquered finish, okay? This is a Sherwin-Williams nitrocellulose lacquer, okay? Now here, I'm gonna see if I can work this thing and flip it around here. Okay, so coming in here, what you guys want to pay attention to, we got to use the light to see it. It's not the easiest thing to see. All of this, you can see like these little flutters along here, right? That's what we're looking for. That's the stuff that we're going to get out of here today as we wet sand and polish this thing. And again, it's pretty deep, and there you go. There's a pretty good way to see it right there. See all that? All that needs to be out. So again, you've got the nice shine, but you've got this shrinkage inside of here. So what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna wet sand and polish all of this and get all of this crap out so that when we look at this thing, it literally shines like a mirror. Can you guys see all this stuff? See the light? All this stuff in here, you can kind of see it. We're trying to get all that stuff out. So I'm gonna go over this with you guys and show you guys exactly what I use, how I do it, and why we're thought of as having one of the best finishes in the lacquer space. So anyway, my name's Eric. I own the Splendid Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri, where I fine furniture company. We're known for our high gloss lacquer coating, which we got right here. We do about 500 pieces a year. During COVID, I was doing 1,500 pieces a year. We make 7 figures is kind of what we make. We make pretty good money. Me and my wife have been doing this for 10 years. We got 8 employees. And so I'm not just some guy in his garage showing you how to do this stuff. We do this stuff 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, or 5 days a week, excuse me. So we do a lot of this stuff. So again, this is what I do, right? I make furniture, I work on lacquered finishes, you know, so we'll get into this thing. So again, guys, go into the comments, and as we're doing this work, you guys can feel free to ask any questions. Like I said, I'll try and interact with you, but as I'm doing this process with my sanders and my buffers and all this kind of stuff, just kind of wait till I finish this thing. If the noise is too much, let me know. If there's something that is being done incorrectly or you guys notice, put it in the comments as we're going through this, and we're just gonna tear into this thing, okay? So real work by real people. I don't know how this is gonna work out, okay? So what I got here is I got a Festool sander, okay? The Festool sander is the thing that I use for all of my, pretty much every sanding. Like I've got probably 6 or 7 sanders back in my sanding room. We've got vacuums. We've got every kind of sander you could possibly imagine. This is the only thing I use because Festool repairs their products better than anybody else, okay? So over here, I've got a ton of different sandpapers, okay? Lots of sandpapers, lots of buffing pads, lots of regular rags. We're gonna use all this stuff today as we work through wet sanding and polishing this credenza. Okay, these credenzas go for about 8,000 bucks a pop. You can go on the resplendentcrow.com, my website, and see all of our high gloss lacquered furniture, just to kind of know that like we're kind of the real deal. You know, I think we're the real deal. So if you guys are in the stream, as always, hit the like button, add to the comments. Like I said, I'm gonna go through this stuff. So I'm in here. We got who is this? Argel Polio. Sounds like kind of a Spanishy type of name. Hello, bro. I'm not an engineer. Okay, well, I am an engineer, but I'm also a business owner, and I make furniture, and I high gloss lacquer furniture. We do sanding, we do painting, we do all kinds of fun stuff here. Okay, so because the finish is so bad on the top of this unit, right? And when you spray lacquer, the horizontal surfaces tend to shine the most, but they also tend to shrink the most, right? Your vertical surfaces, like on all of our doors over here, these generally show really well. So let's pull our camera down. I'm gonna show you guys this shine right here. Let me flip this around here. So if I flip this all around here, you guys can see this is our finish right off the gun, okay? And it's beautiful. There's no shrinking, there's no anything in it. There's something about the horizontal surfaces that tend to have issues sometimes. But again, very good clarity, customers love this kind of stuff, right? And again, I was showing you guys on here, kind of hard to see. I'm going to use the light, but all this crinkling in here, it's not really crinkling. It's more like, it's just shrinking is the way that I would describe. We're going to get all that stuff out, okay? So here we go, everyone. So I appreciate you guys being here. Again, hit the like, add a discussion. And you guys want to know brands, I'll show you all brands. Aaron, looks like you're in here. Glad to see you. So I've never done one of these lives, Aaron, on like showing people my work, but they like the videos. The videos take like 8 or 9 hours to get done with all the editing. I figure I can do this like an hour and a half. Might work out better. So, okay. Aaron's in here. We got more questions from, okay, I'm from Philippines. All right, dude, that's great. I've got a VA that's from the Philippines, handles our website and does all of our social media. So, okay, Aaron, what brand of paper do you use for wet stain? Okay, so Aaron, some of the papers that I use, this is Finish Line, which is actually Klingspor. Okay, so their papers are okay. They're quite cheap to purchase. I use the shit out of this stuff for like 80 grits, like stuff that I just need to sand really, really aggressively. So this is 1500 grit, right? This is your 3M. This is the most expensive paper that I know that you can buy. This stuff's about 80 bucks a box. You get about 15 pads, and it has some give to it, right? You're gonna have a little bit of sponginess on it. Other papers that we're gonna use, sorry guys, we've got Mirka, right? This is gonna be your Mirka 1000 grit, okay? Now, for 1000 grit, again, has just a little bit of sponginess to it, right? This is their iridium paper. This stuff's pretty good. It's cheaper than your 3M, works really well, but more expensive than the Klingspor. Other papers that I'm using, this is also a Mirka. This is a 2000 grit, right? So I'm trying to show you guys as much of the information as I can. So this has a lot of sponge to it, right? Very spongy, okay? And this you want to use over surfaces that aren't really as flat as they could possibly be. I don't generally like to use this stuff that's this spongy, but we're going to go ahead and use it today because I got 3 sheets left. I need to use this shit up. So another thing, this is a live stream. I talk like a real tradesperson. You know, sometimes I'll say words you guys might not like, so just, you know, plug your ears. Okay, other things we got, this is a 3000 grit. Okay, 3000 grit, again, it's going to be a 3M paper. This is, I think it's about 80 bucks a box as well. Again, a little bit more sponge to it. I really like this 3M Trizac stuff. I use tons of this shit. Very expensive, but worth every single penny, okay? So those are the papers that I'm using, Aaron. They're gonna be your Klingspor, your 3M, your Mirkas. These are the things I like. The Klingspor is, again, it's the paper that's my throwaway paper. It's what I use when I just need to do heavy work, get rid of, knock stuff off, get done with it because it's dirt cheap. It's about half the cost of the 3M stuff, okay? So we're gonna load up. So first thing we're gonna do is because we've got so much shrinkage on here, we gotta get rid of a lot of material, right? We're gonna start with something really low, like a 600 or an 800. So we've got, see this, we've got 1000 here. We've got, this is 2000. We've got, what else do we got here? This is 800, okay? We're gonna start with this 800 grit stuff, and we're gonna knock down basically the heavy stuff, right? I tell you guys, I like to use this cheap throwaway paper just to knock down and do the bulk of the work, okay? So let's move our camera around here. Like I said, you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. And like I said, it's the first time doing this, so bear with me. I got my mic on. I don't know how long the camera's gonna last. I don't know how long the mic and all it's gonna last, but I think we're good for about an hour. So, all right, so the most important thing, more important than your paper, is that you have some kind of lube, right? You know, there's nothing worse than unwanted friction, right? So you need some soapy water. Again, soapy water is just some old crusty bottle. It's not like you need the distilled water, nothing like that. Just go to the tap, throw some water in there, put a little, literally use hand soap, a little bit of hand soap. You're gonna take the stuff, we're just gonna spray it all over this thing, just like so. And again, you can't put on too much. You can't put on too little though. So make sure you get a generous amount on there, and you'll kind of feel it. When you're sanding, you'll feel the torque on the sander as to whether or not you got enough lube on there, okay? Lube, man, these lives are great. This is gonna be awesome. Okay, here we go, load this thing up, get my cord here. So this is, one other thing here, I don't have this hooked up to a vacuum. You don't need it because the water is gonna grab all of the dust particles, right? It's all gonna be held in, suspended in the water, so there's no need for any of that, okay? So we got a couple different settings on here. You can start off low, you can start off fast. People that don't know what they're doing, start off low, you know, go for a slow speed, it's not a race. So what I like to do, get my camera down here, and again guys, bear with me as I work through this thing. I've been doing this a lot, so I think I got it down. So what I like to do is when I get on my edges, I let my sander go over maybe 1/4 of an inch, and I kind of like to work this thing in sections. So I might take this cabinet in thirds, okay? So I take this thing in thirds, and I'm gonna do about a 50% overlap as I work my way through here, okay? And again, I hope the sound's coming through okay, guys. What I'm hoping is that you can hear the sander, but when I speak, you can hear me more than anything, okay? Now, some of the other things you gotta be aware of is that you gotta have enough paint on your cabinet to have something to sand off, right? So you gotta have 2 pretty good, generous coats in order to have something to sand off, you know? So make sure you got enough product. I could do an actual painting video at some point, but I'm not gonna do it today. All right, so as I'm going through, the way I think about all my passes, I think about my passes in numbers, all right? So I've worked through, this I consider to be 1 pass, right? And then I'm gonna come back to the other way, I consider that to be 1 pass. You certainly could just go this way and then go this way. You can do whatever you want. Technique is less important than not burning your edges, okay? The most important thing is not to let that sander get over too far. I've seen it all the time. People, they roll that sander over, you end up burning through your paint and you're fucked. There's nothing to fix the big edge if you burn through into your primer. You can fix a tiny bit, a very tiny bit. Like if you just hit the edge, you can drip some paint on there, and then you can continue your process, which I can show in a different video. I've shown it in the videos on my channel, but you cannot burn it. It's the only thing you can't do, okay? So we call that 1. All right, let me grab some rags real quick. So you're gonna use lots of rags. You can use paper towels, you can use rags, you can kind of use whatever. But wouldn't it be funny if I burned through this thing, if I messed it up right on my live? Oh gosh, I'd never live that one down. So, as I'm wiping this thing off here, you guys will see there's all your paint, right? That's what's coming off of your cabinet. This is what you're removing. You're actually removing paint, right? And I told you guys that it would get suspended in the water. That's exactly what's happening, okay? So, what we're gonna show you now is we're gonna look at what we've done. Okay, so bear with me here. Let me turn this around. All right, so now we have this very matte looking tone, okay? And you can see, you guys see, I'm do the best I can. You gotta look for it in the light. You see how we still got some shiny spots, and then it's flat, right? Shiny, flat, shiny, flat. You kind of see that, right? These are all our low spots. Anything that's shiny is a low spot. That means we have to continue sanding until we work this thing down till the entire surface is essentially matte, right? So you see all this? See all this? These are technically, oh, that's water there, but these are just low spots, right? The lacquer has shrunk into the plywood, and that's kind of what's going on there, okay? So let's go through questions real quick. Give me your guys' questions. I'm gonna continue this. I'm gonna finish this 800 grit sanding along the top of this thing. Like I said, I'll try and run through this thing quickly so you guys kind of aren't wasting time watching me sand too much. But give me your questions real quick, and then I'm gonna continue. Okay, we got, who's this? Black Market Bleb 66, I hope I'm saying that right. Dude, buy that shit on Amazon, it's so much cheaper. Yeah, well, I do get some of it on Amazon, and guys, if you guys have any tips about where to buy stuff, I go through just boxes and boxes of sandpaper. I mean, we probably go through, I don't know, 20 boxes of sandpaper a week, maybe, you know? I mean, we go through quite a bit of it. So I buy most of my sandpapers through Sherwin-Williams because they'll give me everything that I need all at once. I don't have to order a bunch of different things from a bunch of different people. I just order from one person. I get it all. They deliver everything. It works out pretty nice. So there's a small business tip for you guys. Okay, let's see. Do you have a sad story? I know, sorry, everyone wants to have a sad story. Sorry, guys, I do have a sad story, but that's not what I'm going to talk about now. Okay, how about some information? Okay, what kind of information do you want there? IRAP21. I've seen you. You've been in my live stream. So in case you guys don't know, most of my live streams, I actually talk about current events. I'll talk about politics. All of my videos and my shorts are related to woodworking, the business of woodworking, and painting, right? So this, for a live, is kind of different for me. So if you guys are in the live, in the stream, hit the like button, add the discussion. I'm going to go ahead and finish sanding this thing. And again, get your questions in the comments. I will answer anything you guys want, but I'm going to try and do the work. Come in, look at comments, do more work, do the comments, and we'll kind of work this thing until we're done, okay? All right, Baton Rouge Lacquer's in here. My only benefit to not using cheap paper is that sanding scratches don't show. 100%, that's actually a fantastic tip. What Baton's saying is that in your papers, your your lower quality paper, right? The reason paper is cheaper is because they're using something called aluminum oxide, right? Which has kind of been the standard for a long time. Now they use something that's called, it might be called ceramic oxide or ceramic silica. There's a new name for it. These papers are more expensive. They cost more money because the material in the sandpaper is more expensive. Companies like Klingspor, this cheaper paper, they don't, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't segregate their aggregates as well as the other companies do, right? So you get a true 320, a true 600 with your more expensive papers, whereas this stuff's going to be a little bit more cheaply put together, and the quality of the granite or I forget the word is for the whatever's in the paper is less consistent, might be the best way to put it, you know. So all right, so we're gonna continue the sanding, and again we're gonna change the paper quite a bit, you know, so I'm gonna try and give you guys information but not too much information. So all right, quick Batten says cheap paper lasts just as long as expensive, in my opinion. Kind of a bummer. Yeah, I know, man. So okay, we're gonna continue. So again, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the entire thing. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna re-lubricate the top, and I'm gonna look for all my low spots, and I will kind of focus on my lower spots until I get a consistent matte finish with no glossiness, all right? All right, more. Like I said, you can't have too much lube. Like I said, as you work that sander, you will feel it if you have a dry spot. It'll get a lot torquier. I like to do these videos and live streams because we actually have a company and we make content. I think a lot of people make content first and then try and have a company. So again, you can see over here it's getting a little bit dry, but that'll be good. And the point is now we can see where our low spots are. That's kind of the whole point of getting that first initial sanding done, so you can kind of see what you're working with. It just shows you everything. So Adam, I'm curious, are you doing a lot of wet sanding and polishing these days? I think we probably wet sand and polish one out of every, I don't know, 30 or 40 pieces of furniture. We might do some of that. I don't know, what's your ratio, man? All right, let's look here real quick. Turn around. All right, so you guys can see, right? See all this shiny stuff is essentially our low spots. We do this first sanding so we kind of see what we're working with, right? Sorry guys, my cord keeps catching my hardware there, right? So I'm gonna continue to sand this stuff until I get rid of all this stuff, and then I'm gonna work up grits. Grit progression. Oops, can I get this back around? There we go. Grit progression for me is going to be like 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, and then 4,000 or 5,000 if I have it. But that's you don't have to. You could stop at 3,000 and start the buffing process, which we may do for this video just to speed it up for you guys. All right. So again, first piece of paper gone. All right, next piece, more 800. And you can go down to 600, really and truly this should probably be 600 first, but for the purposes of what we're doing. So now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do the entire top and try and knock all this stuff out real quick. So give me a couple minutes here and then we'll jump into your guys' questions and keep on keeping on. I'm gonna let the paper pretty much do the work. I see a lot of people, they almost like want to push the sand around, and what that is that's called pulling and dragging. And what Batten is saying about cheaper sandpapers leaving scratches, that's essentially what you're doing when you push or you pull your sand around instead of letting the sander move itself. You're pulling and dragging your paper and you're causing scratches that would otherwise not be there. Again, you can see that ruby looking, you know, foamy paint that's building up in that soapy water. I never go over my edges more than, say, 25% if I can help it, because even me, I'm completely prone to rolling my edges. Like I was telling you guys before, I generally go for 2 sets of passes, and then I kind of look and see where I'm at. Again, if you're just into the stream, we are wet sanding, polishing, and buffing this nitrocellulose lacquer top on this credenza. This credenza is from my Zane product line. This is my #1 selling piece of furniture. I sell about 50 of these most years. This year, I might sell 75. It's amazing how many pieces of this particular piece of furniture. I just bought a CNC router, and now I'm going to be cutting these out. We used to cut all these cabinets by hand, and we're going to try and speed up our production a little bit with a CNC router. So you guys will see that on the channel, I don't know, maybe the next week or 2. So, okay, now I want to get this thing just a little bit cleaner. I'm just going to throw a little bit more soapy water on here. Make sure I get all this extra dust off of here. All right, let's see what we got here. Again, you guys can see, I mean, I keep wiping this stuff off. You're going to keep getting paint. Let's get it nice and dry so we can see what we're working with. And again, I hope everyone's having a good morning. What better thing to do on Saturday than learn about making really expensive finishes. Okay, let's look at our finish again. All right, let's look through this stuff, and then I'm going to go through questions. All right, so I've done 2 passes with the 800 grit, all right? And you guys saw what it looked like previously. Now you can see that there's almost no shiny spots, okay? As we get right here, you can see a couple. I'm sorry, yes, this damn cord keeps grabbing my hardware. Okay, let's see if I can show, there you go, see that? So we still got some shiny right in here. So we need to do one more little bit of sand. You can see we got a little bit back in here, along here, and along our edges, right? It's kind of the danger zone. Okay, but it looks like we're pretty good along the front of the cabinet. A little bit right there. You know, so we're looking okay. All right, let's dig into questions, and we're gonna keep going. Put my camera around here. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Like I said, I don't know if this is the kind of content people want, but live streams people love live streams. Okay, let's see here. There'll be no dry spots watching this. Yeah, who's this? King Erie. All right, thanks for your comment, dude. Okay, no more comments at this minute, so let's keep going. All right, so I'm going to hit these last couple little spots here. Then I'm going to switch up. I'm going to go to, probably go to 1,000. I'll do a quick run of 1,000. I'm going to do a quick run of 1,500, and then we can dig into more comments, okay? So, do the 3rd piece of 800 grit at this point. Load this up here. And then this should give us a nice consistent matte finish to then start working up our higher grits. So I actually will look for any of my low spots. And I'm going to specifically hit these areas. Rag again. And again, we'll leave a couple of low spots, and maybe you guys can see at the very end of the video why it's so important to get rid of all your low spots in the very beginning because I'll have to go back and fix them later, and I'll show you guys what that looks like too if we have juice left in the old phone. Always very careful around the edges. Probably still got a few spots where we worked out. Yeah, we're still just pulling off lots of paint. One of the things that we do when we're painting, which is hard to explain, but when we spray lacquer, I literally put it on like molasses, and this is pretty much a no-no. I get paint companies coming in here all the time trying to sell us different paint products, and they always ask me like, well, how many mils are you putting on? Mils. They want to talk like scientists, and I'm just like, we put this shit on until it looks like butter. And they're like, well, how thick is that? I'm like, I have no idea. We have no idea how thick our coating is. All we know is that once we put 2 buttery thick coats on, it's good. So if you're trying to learn how to do this stuff, there's Eric's scientific method. Okay, so we've got a couple spots in here. But for the purposes of, you know what, I am going to hit these 2 spots. I'm going to hit these real quick, and then we'll keep going. I don't mind having a couple spots. I don't want to have a ton of them. So I literally do not worry about going through my finish at all. I've almost never gone through a finish. We just never put it on thin enough to where it's even possible. All right, we're gonna go with this regardless of what it looks like, so I can move on to some of my other grits real quick. All right, so this is fourth piece of 800. Now we're on to, let's see if I got 1,000 laying around here. Okay, so now we're gonna grab, this is our iridium Merca paper, right? You guys gotta see that. 1,000 grit. This stuff's awesome. It is more expensive, but it cuts really well. Leaves a beautiful finish. So I just did a 15-foot crotch mahogany table. You guys can see it on my channel. I sanded everything with this Merca stuff, and it's beautiful. It just gleams. It's gorgeous. All right. So this time I'm just going to go and wet the whole thing down. And in this case, I'm going to go over the entire top. So I'm not going to do it in thirds or halves or quarters or whatever. We're just going to go hit the entire top. Because now we're not worrying about knocking material down. We're basically just trying to get a consistent finish. And again, not in a hurry. Let the sander do the work. Yada, 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 yada. In case you guys don't know, my channel finally monetized. So you guys might see a few changes in some of the videos, live streams and stuff like that. Me and Suchetta have been working really hard on social media, kind of letting the company run itself, but we've really been working hard on promoting the brand, the Resplendent Pro, using the brand as a tool to sell products to other people, to have them sell their products through our company. And so we're really working hard to grow the brand, the Resplendent Pro. But the problem with someone like me is that I'm a wagey. I love working. I love working lots of hours. I like making furniture. I like painting. I like sanding. I like doing the grunt work. So doing this for me is kind of cathartic. It's like a stress reliever. Again, you guys are seeing that we're still getting some paint coming off, but the paint, the foaminess of it is much thinner now. It's actually frothier. You guys just love these adjectives. This is just great. All right. But now we're starting to get something that's starting to look like it's got some consistency to it. So let's wipe this off. We'll see if we got any more questions, and we'll keep on keeping on. I'm a huge Joe Dirt fan. I love Joe Dirt. Life's a garden, dig it. All right, I think we're looking really good. All right, looks like we got a really consistent finish. Doesn't look like we're burning through anywhere. Everything looks good. I'll show you guys what this looks like real quick. And some of you might say, well, this looks pretty good. Why don't you just start buffing, right? Get to the buffing. When you start buffing, all you will see are sanding swirl marks. You have to go up to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. If you go to 3,000, you're still gonna have a lot of work to do. You go to 5,000, less work. That's basically, you're just trading one job for another. It's in the end, it's gonna probably end up being about the same amount of time. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Flip this camera around again. Here, y'all. So you can see we've got a very consistent looking finish here, right? You can see some of the hazing from the soap probably, but this looks good. We don't have any, I don't see any shiny spots, right? We can see some shiny spots on the rim here where the paint has rolled over, right? So that looks really nice. So I think this is definitely ready for 1500. Now the 1500 is where you really start to see it shine up. So here comes the shine. Every process from here on out, this thing's gonna get shinier and shinier and shinier. So all right, let's see if we got any comments in here. You guys are in the stream, hit the like button. You like content like this? Put stuff in the comments. I told people, now that the channel's monetized, I'm probably gonna give away a piece of furniture. So I'm not one of these posers that has, you know, bullshit stuff to give you guys like fucking t-shirts and coffee cups and stuff that's made in China. All we make is real American furniture here. So I'm probably gonna be giving away a piece of furniture. I got a couple people in my streams that have helped me out from the very beginning, have been very supportive of everything that we do here, you know, so I'm gonna pick some people to give furniture to, so stay in the comments, guys. Okay, here we go. So King Gary says, let's see, there'll be no dry spots. Okay, I already read that comment. Who's this? We got Mercoid. Man, great name, I like that name. Okay, I don't know why people love live streams. I don't know either, but they do. I get more views on live streams in an hour than I get on the entire videos that I make in a month. Like, it's absolutely wild. So like everything I'm doing here, I have 2 videos on my channel right now of how I do this kind of work. So you can go watch those. Let's see. Mercoid says, no in and of itself, but the fact too many morons end up making stupid comments. Yeah, I don't have that problem too much in our live streams. We got a lot of people that really like what we do, people that really want to learn this craft. This is the thing that I think we need more of. We need more bourbon moth type cabinet makers, these poser furniture makers that they make content, right? They make furniture to make content. Like, I make furniture first. I have a whole company here that we have to employ people. If I stop making fucking furniture, people lose their jobs. Like, a lot of people lose their jobs. So I do this for fun. I do this for people that want to learn how to do this kind of stuff. All right. Who else we got in here? This is Chrysler George, man. You must like Chryslers. Okay. Hey, UNC, you're from North Carolina. All right, man. That's my neck of the woods. It's the furniture capital of America. All right, we got BR, oh gosh, I don't even know how to say your name. 946, we talking about sanding grits. Yeah, we covered sanding grits earlier. Let's go over sanding grits real quick, okay? We started with 800. We started with 800 Klingspor paper, which is a cheap paper, which is why we use it. We just moved up to 1,000. We're using a Merck 1,000 grit. This is the iridium stuff. Next, we're moving up to 3M 1,500. This is where you guys are gonna start seeing all the shine, okay? It's gonna get progressively shinier every sanding grit that I go through up to 4,000. Then when I buff it, it's gonna shine like an absolute mirror. You guys will be blown away by what the clarity you get. And it's one of the reasons I'm doing this piece. The clarity we're gonna get out of this thing is gonna be awesome, right? I sell furniture to women. Chicks love this stuff. Dudes like to do the work. Women like to see what's done, you know? So Do something like this for your wife. Watch these videos and live streams. She will love you for it. Okay, last person in here right now. We have Specs Dawn. Specs Dawn, glad you're here. All right, guys, let's move. We're gonna move 1500. And again, we're going with, let's see here. Is this the right one? This is, I don't see the grid on here. This is 3000. All right, we need 1500. Okay, so our 1500 is gonna be our 3M Trizac. Okay, Trizac I think is the best 3M paper out there. I've never used anything better. I think it's the most expensive, but it's worth every penny. Just don't use it for like your low, like I would never use 3M for like 80 grit, 150, 320. It's just too expensive. So what we have here is we have a Trizac pad. Let me just make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, Trizac pad. It's got just a little tiny bit of almost like fabric on the back of it. It's not spongy, but it has just a little bit of give, which I think is what makes it work so well. And you have a there you see the light. These are all microscopic holes in here, so it doesn't matter which kind of sander you use. If it has a vacuum, it will suck up the dust, but I don't use vacuums when I do any of my wet sanding polishing. I don't find it to be necessary. So that's the product if you guys want to know. All right, so now one piece of 1000 is all we use, right? So that's done. Now we're on to our 1500. And again, soapy water at every single level. All right, here we go again. We'll go through 1500, we'll go through 2000, and then we'll do questions again. As the grits go up, as the grit level gets higher, the sanding goes faster, right? Now we're just looking for consistency in our grits. We're not looking to actually like necessarily remove tons of material to get into all the low spots. We're essentially getting rid of the previous sanding grits. So I spent 20 years in aerospace working on private jets and defense planes. And I had a guy that was a Finnish guy, and he showed me how to shine up plastic one day. I had no idea you could make plastic like super duper shiny. It was that guy's idea that kind of got me thinking about this kind of stuff. You know, makes you think about how you do that. And that's what he would do. He would just take that plastic and you throw some 1000 grit on there, and it would turn matte and start, you know, it wouldn't look good. But by the time you got done sanding that shit with like 4000, then you hit it with a bucket wheel, like a little bit of lamb's wool, like it just shined like a new penny. It was really cool. And essentially what we're doing here is the same thing. It's the same thing. In case anyone's wondering, this is the same process that I use when I shoot clear coat. So when I make, you know, dressers, credenzas, desks that are stain grade, I will shoot them with nitrocellulose lacquer, and then I will wet sand, buff, and polish the shit out of them until they shine just magnificently. And customers love that stuff. They'll pay a lot of money for it. A lot of furniture has kind of like like a matte or a satin type finish, and that looks nice. But if you can show your customer something different, you know, they will always choose it. But shiny stain grade furniture sells for a pretty good penny. People really like it once they actually see it. It doesn't show as well in photographs and videos, but when you get it to them in person, man, they just go nuts. This time I did 3 passes, but in the higher grits, it goes faster. It's not a big deal. But you can see I'm almost robotic about it. It's not a random type sanding deal. It's literally like sanded like a robot. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. This is where we'll start to get a little bit of shine back. And like I said to you guys before, progressively it's just going to get shinier and shinier and shinier. So instead of being straight matte, now we're starting to get just a little bit of shine. Okay, so here's $5. Now we're going to move on to, let me get a, hang on 1 second, guys. So let's see here. All right, so I want to show you guys here. So I got 2 different pads here. I've got a 2000 grit Klingspor paper, and then I've got a 2000 grit Mirka paper, right? Mirka one has a little bit of sponge to it. The Klingspor has just a little bit of that, a little bit like fabric on the back side of it. So in this case, we'll go ahead, we're gonna use the spongy one so you guys can see what it's like. It's not necessary with something that's this dead flat, but these are freaking awesome. If you got, you know, something just has a little bit of irregularity to it, I love these things. All right, so on to 2000. And we'll, like I said, we'll go through comments and we'll look over the shine and see where we're at. Go with the right hand. In case you guys didn't know, I'm left-handed. The things I like doing, I like listening to podcasts, stuff while I'm doing this. It's just awesome. Especially when there's no one here. Normally this shop is humming. Generally, we got 3 sanders in the back sanded. We're gonna have one guy painting, another guy is assembling and assisting the painter, and also assisting the sander, so he's kind of like a floater. We've got a guy here building cabinets. We've got a shipping guy coming in constantly, wrapping pieces, loading stuff up, taking stuff out. And then there's me trying to do just whatever anyone else needs help with. Sometimes it's making furniture, sometimes it's doing this, sometimes it's helping load furniture, unload furniture, order materials, talk to customers, fight with customers, whatever. Now I'm kind of taking these bigger, almost like oval shapes, and I don't think it matters what pattern you follow, it just breaks up the monotony. You know, always being careful not to get over too much on the edge. You don't want to roll that edge. Sander is moving my hand. My hand is not moving the sander. Because when you move the sander, you are dragging. You're either pulling or dragging your sander, creating swirl marks that you don't necessarily want. Blah, 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 blah. Wipe this thing down again. Like so, we're gonna take a peek at it. Should be starting to get a little bit more shine now. You guys can see it's starting to get a little bit brighter. I wonder if one of the reasons that a lot of people don't do lives on this kind of stuff is if you make a mistake, there's no editing. You can't edit it out, you know. So it's like you got to do it in real time as best you can. There's no going back. So I guess this could go entirely bad for me. All right, so you guys are starting to see we're getting some shine. So let's take a peek at this, and we'll go through comments some more. And again, I appreciate everyone being here. Hit the like button out of the discussion, and let's keep cracking. All right, you guys see the shine now? So we're getting the natural light coming in, and it's starting to reflect off of there. Okay. So again, if I come in here, you don't really see much, right? Like we can't see the reflection anymore. There's no reflection to be seen yet, but we are starting to get the reflective qualities of high grit sandpapers. So again, you're not gonna, when you get down in there, you see nothing, but you are getting the reflective qualities. So And again, what I try to tell people about paint is when I try to describe why you get the great reflections that you do is when you spray paint, right? Everyone thinks that when you spray paint, it's flat. It's not. It's doing whatever your substrate's doing. No substrate is dead flat. I don't care what anybody says, not your MDFs, not your nothing. None of it's flat. The paint, when you lay it down, has different thicknesses. So paint actually looks like this if you were to look at it under a microscope. So when you're sanding it, you're removing this and you're making it do this. And the more you do, the polish and buff it, you're doing less until you get it to where it's almost dead flat. That's where the reflection comes from. So, okay, let's look at comments real quick and then we're gonna keep going. Okay, again, happy Saturday, everyone. Appreciate y'all hanging out. We're gonna keep going. Let's see here. We were at, who is this? We're at Mercoid. Okay, let's see. Well, I don't know why people love live. It's a horrible format. Man, I don't know either. People love live streams, though. Like I said, like my last live stream, it was 250 hours, 20,000 people watched it. I was on stream for like an hour and a half. Like, people just love this stuff. Plus, I think people like the interaction. I think that's a big thing. Is you get to ask questions in real time. People don't know this, but when you watch content creators, they're creating content. The people that you're interacting with in the comments are not actually the people that made the content. It's usually VAs. These are people that, and we do the same thing. It's usually people that are paid to respond. Most of them are in the Philippines. They're paid to respond and interact with people to increase what's called engagement, which is what like brands and sponsors and people like that are looking for your engagement. They want to know how many people are interacting with your product or your brand so they can use your platform to sell their products, right? So that's kind of what's going on there. Okay, let's see. We talked about, are we talking Sanders? Yep, I did all that. We got Spexdon said, I said hi to you. We got Brogladite. Is it Brogladite? I tried to pronounce your name. Okay, what do you think about the channel at Woodwork Champion? I don't watch any paint content. I don't watch any woodworking content. I don't watch any tradespeople do anything. I can't stomach it. It's not. There's very few people on social media or YouTube that are real practitioners of their craft. They're content creators first, they're practitioners last. Again, we don't operate that way. It's a real business. We got a bunch of people that work here. It's a real company. And so I don't know who that is, but maybe I'll check them out. This is Workshop Companion. So no, I've never seen it. Like I said, anyone's got a suggestion about channels to watch, I'll try and check them out. Like I said, I'm open to anything. Okay, let's see, water pop with soapy water. Yes, yeah. So I just, like I said, what I do is I just take old bottles of anything, just clean them out, put a little bit of, I put like 2 pumps of hand soap in there, and then just start filling it up with water. I shake it up real good, and that's all I do. Just a little, you just need a tiny bit. Just don't use anything that has, any kind of pumice in it. You always want to use like hand soap. Dawn would work. I don't know what we got. We probably got something like Walmart brand, something there, but it all works just fine. So, okay, let's move on to our other grades. Now we're gonna start to get the real shine going on in this thing. We just finished 2,000, so now we're gonna move up to 3,000. And the 3,000 3M paper is freaking awesome. It's gonna take this thing from it'll basically double the shine that we're gonna be at right now. So, okay, let's keep going. So this is our spongy 2,000 grit, right? There's another $5, done. Now we're gonna move into our 3,000. Here's slightly thicker 3,000 grit. This is gonna be your 3,000 Trizac 3M paper. I love this paper. It's just, man, it's expensive. I think a box of this is like, it was like 120 bucks, something like that. So when we're doing all this, every time I have to do one of these cabinets, I mean, it probably, just in the terms of material, it's probably $50 in material by the time it's all said and done. Between the sandpapers, the pads, the buffing compounds, all the shit that goes into this process, it's not cheap, right? And then the labor, I mean, whatever that is. So, all right, continuing on. I'm gonna go through 3,000, I'm gonna go through 4,000. We'll do comments again, and then we move on to buffing, right? We get on the nasty, dirty part, the part that confuses most people. So again, I appreciate everyone being here, watching us wet sand and polish this Lacquer credenza. My name is Eric Wilk, and I own the Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. We are a fine furniture boutique company. We are also known for our high-gloss lacquer coating and the beautiful finishes that we have. And I am here to teach you guys how to do this kind of stuff, because there's no gatekeeping. There is plenty of space for anybody to do this. Anyone who wants to get in to do this kind of business, hit me up. I do consulting calls with people sometimes if you really want. I don't charge a bunch of money, but I charge a little bit because I want you to have some skin in the game. But there is plenty of room for anybody to start a paint company, a furniture company. So yeah, the people that try and gatekeep and hide what they know, it's not necessary. There's plenty of business. The actual way to make money doing what it is that we do isn't in the furniture. It's not in having the most beautiful product, the best product. It's literally in your marketing and your branding. So for the painters out there, the main nitrocellulose lacquer we use is a clear gloss nitrocellulose product that is 100 sheen. So if any of you know about paint is graded in its sheen. A lot of what are clear nitrocellulose lacquers, the best you're going to find in most cases is going to be a 90. So we use a Mohawk nitrocellulose lacquer, which is a 90 sheen. That's the glossiest that they have. We've also used an MLK, Martin Luther King paint, ML Campbell paint that I want to say is maybe 70 or 80 sheen. It's not nearly as shiny as some of the others. The best quality nitrocellulose lacquer I've seen is going to be the Sherwin product. It's the most consistent. It has the best shine. It does take the longest to dry. The absolute best, nitrocellulose lacquer in terms of consistency, in terms of just general usability, doesn't crack, crinkle, is going to be your Mohawk. I think they actually make the best nitrocellulose lacquer there is, but it's not the shiniest. But you can take any of those other products, the Mohawk paint, the ML Campbell paint, and you can shine them up to look just like this. But that means you have to do it to everything, which good luck making money doing that. Okay, so this is 3,000. All right, now we're going to do our 4,000, then we'll dig back into comments, and then we're going to move on to our buffing, our machine polish, and then our final polish. And I'll show you guys all the products that I use. I do have affiliate links for all this shit. I never talk about it because it's just not, it's not really anything that I do. But if you search Modern Woodrunner and on Amazon, I have all this stuff on there, but I don't put links. It's just, I never think about it. Okay, 4,000, let's see. Get some 4,000 grit paper here. Hang out 1 second, guys. This is 2,000, 2,000. What did I do by 4,000? 2,000. Maybe I am out of 4,000. Okay, well, I guess we're going to do a little bit more buffing, huh? Let's see here. Yeah, okay. All right, we're going to move on to buffing early. What is this? This would be a 4,000. That's going to be 800. Okay, well, awesome. Okay, well, that happens. Okay, so let's dig on to buffing. Let's go through comments real quick, and we'll dig on the buffers. I'll show you guys what I use as far as my buffer goes, my products, and all that fun stuff. All right, so we have Rick from Oregon. All right, Rick from Oregon. That's where I'm from. Okay, I'm from Corvallis. Rick, where are you from? I'm looking to find a way to make money with wood. I recently bought a Wood-Mizer wood mill. Just milled some beautiful black walnut. I'm getting ready to mill some white oak. So the thing I always tell people that want to get business for themselves, so no matter what you do, but especially as people that work, in the trades or do what we do, making furniture, or if you want to do, cutting down, doing slabs. When I have to buy slabs and I have to buy like large chunks of material, what I'm finding is that most people have a website. So if you have logs, I don't know if you're kiln drying, air drying, whatever, your best bet is literally to start a website. Get on. Probably Shopify is probably the way to go because you need a way to collect payment. Get on Shopify, start a website, come up with a cool name, don't come up with some, you know, ridiculous name, pass your name around to a few people, think about it a little bit. And the advice that was always given to me is if you're gonna come up with a name, don't put your own name in your company's name. Very difficult to sell it if you ever get the opportunity. So don't call it Rick's Wood. Like, it's just not, it's not gonna work. Come up with a name like that. Get on Shopify. Shopify collects payments, right? So you'll be able to actually, people see a product that they like, they can just click and buy, done. Right? So that's where I would start. The other thing you have to do, dude, is you're going to have to learn to take really good pictures, which is what screwed me. Thank God I met my wife. She takes amazing pictures and understands all that stuff. You need really good pictures. You need a good way to show off your wood, right? You know, show off your wood, buddy. Show it off wet and show it off dry, right? People want to see what that grain looks like. So what I like to do, a lot of people use water. I see that, which don't do that. Use naphtha. Naphtha's not that expensive, and plus it evaporates, and it really highlights the grain. It really shows it off well, but that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna need to advertise, and you're gonna need to show people your product, and it takes a lot longer than anyone could possibly imagine to get your name out there. But Google is the mightiest company that has ever existed in the history of man, and if you have a good product, people like it, Google will help them to find it, right? Someone's looking for what you sell, Google will help them to find it. If you do what I'm doing here, you make content on YouTube, put your content on Instagram and Facebook, you end up with essentially what's called the trifecta, right? So you end up with what's like, know, and trust, right? And this is what Google wants you to have in order to have your product come up high in the index of searches, okay? I know it's a lot of information. That's what I do on these live streams. I give you guys a lot of information. But Rick, I hope that helps. Let me know where you're from. Like I said, I'm from Corvallis. Most of my family lives in Portland, and a bunch of my family lives in Seattle. So now I'm in St. Louis, moving all over the place, figured this thing out. So, okay, let's move on, guys. We're gonna go move on to buffing. I'll show you guys what to do with the buffing thing. This is where it gets kind of dirty. Normally I like to go up to at least 4,000, but we got 3,000, so that's what we're gonna get. So first thing I'm gonna do, I have just shit tons of these Sherwin-Williams shirts. When you buy $100,000 in paint every year, they just give them away to you. They'll give you as many as you want. So I've got boxes and boxes of these things. And I'm just doing this because I don't want to get anything on my dirty Lotus sweater. All my clothes are dirty. That's what happens when you work for yourself. Just everything gets dirty. My wife's always giving me shit. Why didn't you wear work clothes to work? Oh, great. I've got people showing up. And I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to keep my clean clothes from my dirty clothes. Like, it's just, dust follows me everywhere I go. It's just all over the place. Okay, put this thing back on here. Again, you guys let me know if something doesn't work. All right, so I'm clean. All right, let's get our buffer out. So I'm using just this basic, it's gonna be a DeWalt, I think it's an 8-inch buffer. It might be a 10, no, I take it back, it's a 10-inch buffer. Hold on, let me unravel it here. Let's see if I can give you guys some product information. Okay, this is called a DWP 849X, and I believe it's an 8-inch buffer, but I've literally had this thing for 8 years. I've used it since the day we started this company. I change the brushes out every couple of years, and it's never failed me. Never, not once. They're about, I think they're probably $200-300, somewhere in there. Not too bad. But let's get this thing in. I'll talk to you guys about pads. We'll talk about our compounds, and see if I can bore everyone to death with my bounty of knowledge. Okay, so I'm not going to put my buffer on here because now we're starting to get up to enough of a finish that I don't want to scratch my finish if I can help it. So put all this stuff out here real quick so I can throw some products out here for you guys. All right, so what you guys need to know now is we have several different compounds, and I'll tell you guys why we use each one. Yeah, I've got one more, but of course my guys have grabbed it. So we're gonna start here. I think Manuel's coming in. I'll have him grab my other compound for me. Okay, so what we got here is, so everyone knows 3M, right? So 3M's the big company. They, we use a lot of their pads, we use a lot of their compounds, we use a lot of 3M products. I use a lot of other products though, which is what I want you to pay attention to, because everyone knows 3M. Not everyone knows about Turbo Cut, not everyone knows about Wizards, not everyone knows about the chemical guys. There's a lot of other things that we use. So let's start here. So 3M has a system. Their system uses these numeric numbers, right? You're seeing 2, this one's 3, and they also have one that's 1. That's their buffing compound. So One's gonna be their buffing compound, 2 is gonna be their machine polish, 3 is gonna be their actual polish, right? So machine polish and polish, not the same thing, they're different. Each step removes swirl marks except for the polish. The polish itself is essentially to remove hazing, any greases or contaminants that are on the finish, and produces that last kind of shine that you're gonna get. It's basically like a cleaning product, is kind of how I like to think about it. So, what we use here is, this is Wizard's Turbo Cut, okay? This is gonna be the product it's the only product that I use now. It just tends to cut a lot better, smells better, it seems to work better than your 3M compound. This stuff has a little bit more of a thicker consistency to it, which is why I think it works better. Whereas the 3M stuff just seems to be, I won't say it's watery, but it's like, this is like toothpaste, you know? And again, I think it works awesome. So the thing you want to pay attention to when you're doing this job is, again, the torque. If you don't have enough product on your pad, it's gonna get really torquey and it's gonna create heat, okay? The concept you have to understand is that friction creates heat. Heat is death for lacquer, okay? The hotter this product gets, it's gonna turn gummy on you, right? It'll actually get soft and it'll start to leave swirl marks you don't want it to leave, so you want the least amount of heat as possible, otherwise your finish is gonna be hosed, okay? So bear those things in mind, and let's get cracking. Give me just a second, y'all, and I'll clean our surface here. Hey, Manuel, can you give me the polish?
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right. Can you bring the polish here? Thank you very much, bud. Okay, here we go. We got a clean-ish surface. Get our buffer. So what I'm gonna do is, when I do my polishing, I like to think of longer surfaces in thirds or quarters, right? So, or quadrants, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna work this third, and then this third. That's how I'm gonna work this stuff. And I'm doing that because, again, heat. I'm not gonna work this entire thing and create a whole bunch of heat. I don't wanna do that. I wanna do this section, create the heat that I'm gonna create, and then let it cool off. Work this section, let it create the heat, work this section, and then I'm gonna come back. This has cooled off. You guys see how that kind of works? So we're just letting things kind of cool off. Technically speaking, sure. You could probably go through the entire thing. That's not how I do it. So I'll get a little bit of this good stuff here. Thanks, Manuel. Do we have any more of this?
No.
We almost out? Okay. Okay. So I can put a little bit on here. Again, you don't need very much. So what I like to do is I'll kind of throw it on there. I can get on however much I get. So we'll start there. And again, constantly trying to keep my surface fairly clean. All right, now I'm gonna take this stuff and I'm just gonna kind of spread it around here. What I'm doing is I don't want to end up hitting a big glob of this shit, because what happens is if your pad's hot, it hits this stuff, it heats it up real quick, and it turns into essentially like clay. And then it doesn't do its job. So we don't want to have a massive glob get hit at one point. Okay, so we're gonna start there. Wipe all this stuff off here. Okay, now pads, let's come over here. I'm gonna flip my camera over here, guys. Walk with me. All right, so what I do is I got a couple of these tubs, I guess. And in these tubs, I've got either new pads or another tub's gonna have your old pads, right? The way you clean pads is you go wash them, right? So you can, it's best to take it like a commercial, what do they call it, laundromat? What do they call it, laundromat? They still call it that. Anyway, you take them over there, you throw them all in there, put in your one of your tabs, wash it, done. Let it air dry, don't dry your pads, and you can reuse these things quite a bit. Now, see this thing? This thing is just, it's probably not any good anymore, right? So you'll start to see that when you use these 3M pads, this is kind of like they call it egg crane, I think is what they call it. You'll start to see these things start to get flattened off, right? And once they start to get flattened off, you gotta get rid of them. So this one's still pretty darn good, so we'll use that one. Now, you've got a bunch of different kinds of pads. And we'll try and go through these and kind of show you what they are. Actually, a lot of these look kind of dirty. We might have to go find some different pads here. So let's go through the colors here. We'll go through the old 3M colors. Black, white, and blue. Hold on. Be patient, be patient. Okay, here we go. So the 3M stuff, 3M has its own system for pads, right? You're gonna have your white, right? Which is the size probably better. White, black, and blue. Okay, now this corresponds with the bottles I just showed you. The blue bottle is going to be number 3. The white bottle is going to be number 1. The black bottle is going to be number 2. Okay, so very easy to use these. They're great pads. I want to say they're like 60 bucks for 3 of these, so like 20 bucks a pad, something like that. Now there's another company. Make sure I get the name right here. I always call these turbo cuts. They call them turbo buffs. Okay, so this is called Turbo Buff, right? Their website's super shitty, but their pads are fantastic. Okay, they really do work well. They're cheaper than your 3M pads, probably because it's a lower tier company. I don't know how long they've been in business, but this is essentially an all-purpose 7-inch pad, right? You got the part number right there. Okay, I use these things for pretty much any compound, whether it's buffing compound, polishing compound, or regular old machine polish compound or polishing compound. Okay, so they pretty much work for everything. This is going to be your 8-inch pad, a little bigger, same thing. Now, the difference between a 3M pad and one of these Turbo Buff pads is you can see how thick it is, right? So one of the things that I've noticed about these Turbo Buff pads is the thickness absorbs the heat, right? So that heat, as you're spinning this thing, is drawn off of the surface. They don't produce the heat that the 3M pads do, right? So the 3M pad looks kind of, it's got some thickness to it, but look at the back side. See how it's shelled out entirely here? So again, the pad itself is probably 3/4 of an inch thick. This thing's damn near 2 inches. I mean, it's much thicker, produces heat a lot better. So something to think about, a little bit of education for you guys on these buffing pads, right? Again, that's the stuff that I noticed. The Turbo Buff pads just work better because I think they're thicker, you know. So, but the 3M ones are readily available. So, okay, so I got to find a couple of good pads. So we need to go through some of these other pads here. I got to find some. Walk with you guys here. Keep all kinds of fun stuff so I can find what I'm looking for. I may have to find some new cats. Let's see, these are all dirty. All right, let's come back over here. So yeah, we're gonna go with these pads that I have over here. I don't know if these are the best pads, but let's find some good ones here. This one's kind of okay. We probably use that one. This one's okay. What I'm feeling for is I'm feeling for like crust, right? When you wash a pad, generally it's fairly plush, you know, pliable. So I think these are probably going to be okay. So we'll just go with a whole bunch of these Turbo Buff pads. Okay, so we're going to take all of these. We're going to go back over to our cabinet and finally get to work. Eric can quit screwing around. Okay. I think we got good position here. Okay, see what's going on. Okay, so take all of our pads, put them over here. We're going to start with this bad boy. So 8-inch Turbo Buff pad. We put it onto our, again, it's all hook and loop, just like your sandpapers. Now, when I start out, I generally start like 1,000. Looks like Manuel was doing about 1,400 on here, you know, so I kind of start off lower. I'm kind of a bitch. So let's get cracking here. I'm just going to kind of take this initially and just kind of knock this stuff around. I'm not really worried about, you know, creating scuffs and scratches. I just don't want this shit to fling all over the place. So, okay, here we go. So very much like sanding, I'm kind of going to do probably about 2 passes. I'm doing probably 25% overlap. And I'll go over a couple of different techniques you can use. So again, I'm not going over my edge too much. I don't want to, you can burn your edge with a buffer just as fast as you can burn your edge with a sander. So here's where the real education is coming, guys. So if you haven't paid attention up to this point, now it's time to pay attention, okay? So what's happening now is we're removing the swirl marks from our 3000, right? 3000 grit leaves a lot of swirl marks. You don't see it, but it's there. Once you start buffing, you're gonna start to see those things. So when I look at this finish, I'll try and show you guys this stuff. You're gonna see, get my thing down here. You're gonna see some of the swirl marks. It's kind of, like I said, we can't see it necessarily right this second, but you're gonna see it, right? And as I touch this thing, I could feel just a tiny bit of warmth. It's nothing to be concerned with. It's not hot. It's just a slight little bit of temperature, right? And that's what you're going for. You're trying to get the temperature up just a tiny bit while you do your work and then move on to the next section, okay? So let's bring the camera down. Let's show you guys here. Flip this around. All right, so let's see if I can, again, you just see the clarity? So the clarity, just from a couple seconds of buffing, has got to where you guys know what color my t-shirt is. Okay, so we moved over, whereas when I come over, oops, god dang it, this thing just always grabs. Whereas I come over here, right, can't see nearly as much, right? There's nothing there to really, you don't get the same clarity. So the buffing is really starting to do its job, which is what we want. So we come back over here, again, great clarity. So you guys kind of see what's going on. Okay? But you can see swirl marks. So now we're gonna have to dig out all these swirls. Here's a little bit of actual sanding marks. I don't know if I can get, sorry guys, I know this is probably great content. Eric trying to find a freaking imperfection that's impossible to see with your camera. Anyway, so we're gonna keep working on stuff. I'm gonna work on all of this stuff with the buffing. So I'm gonna go through the whole cabinet, get it all done, and then we'll move on to the polishing part, okay? This is just called buffing, okay? That's all we're doing is buffing. We're removing those 3,000 and 2,000 grit scratching marks from sanding, okay? See if we got any comments. Comments on here, okay, people are just paying attention. All right, good. Good, good, good. Okay, here we go. So again, I'm sanding about 12, well, what am I at? Yeah, I guess I'm at 1,200 RPM. Again, same thing, I just don't want the stuff to go all over the place, so I just kind of touch it and go on back to work. And right now, I'm not trying to make any mistakes. I'm trying to do this kind of as perfectly as I can. There's always some kind of mistake. There's something that I have to fix when I do this stuff, or I don't do it well enough, I gotta go back and rework it. So if I can find something that I do incorrectly, I'm gonna try and point it out. And maybe that'll give us an opportunity to fix something. But maybe we're just gonna end up working out okay. So. Again, I'm feeling the buffer, right? So I'm actually moving the buffer, but I'm feeling for the torque. So what you see a lot of buffers do is they start doing this. They get kind of whee. It's almost like they're having fun. I can't do that. I don't know why those guys do that kind of stuff. I've never understood it. Maybe it's to keep the heat from building up in any one location, but I don't generally do that. It just doesn't work for me. This is the process. It's always worked for me, and it produces a really nice finish. So again, no heat. There's no heat going on right now with everything I did, which is awesome. But spread this crap around. We just have this one little, more like a quarter. And just like our sanding, our lower buffing compounds, right, the compounds that we're first starting with, take the longest. Because we're working on all the imperfections, working on any imperfections that we have with this first buffing compound. And as we move up into our polishing compound, our machine polish and then our regular polish, it goes really fast. Okay? All right, so now I've got a mirror finish, right? You guys think it looks like a mirror finish. If you were here to look at this, when we look at this, this looks like shit, right? This is not acceptable. There's nothing about this that would be acceptable yet, right? The average person won't notice it at first, but the more they look at it, they'll start to see little this and that. And it's gonna be very difficult for me to point it out to you guys, so you just have to take my word for it. What you need to know about the finish that you're seeing right now is that you need to be able to find all of the imperfections that you can't see right now. So what we have to do is we have to go to the next step, right? We're gonna go to our machine polish. We're gonna machine polish the whole thing, and then I'm gonna show you guys, if I can, what imperfections there are left, right? Just like I did with the initial 800 grit sanding that we did on this thing. Once we did that, we could see all the low spots. Same thing. Once we go to the machine polish, it's gonna brighten the finish even more, and then we should be able to see swirl marks that we missed, okay? That's what we're doing. So this is my compound pad, right? This is my buffing compound pad. I'm gonna take this off, I'm gonna load up a new pad because I don't wanna mix compounds, right? I don't wanna do that. So this is just for buffing, okay? Load up another pad here. And this is gonna be the one we do for our machine polish. The compound we used before is like toothpaste. This is like, I'm terrible at this. I don't know what the hell this is like. It's like less than toothpaste. It's like shampoo. How about that? Shampoo. I can never get these squirt bottles to really work. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. There you go. Gets like a drop or two on here. And again, you don't need very much of this stuff. Maybe something like that. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna kick it around just a little bit. And this time, I'll probably hit the entire cabinet as opposed to doing it in sections, because this stuff doesn't draw as much heat. It doesn't create as much heat because it's not doing as much pulling on the surface because it's so much thinner. So we'll do this one just like we're sanding. So now I got this. I'm gonna bump my speed up to 1400. We're gonna go up to 1400 RPMs. Knock this shit around, man. Actually, I'm not going to do the whole cabinet. I'm going to continue to do what I was doing before. But you can already see what it does, right? So this is going to create a layer of clarity that you haven't seen yet. So stay tuned, as they would say. Other things to pay attention to, you want to let the polish do its work. You know, you don't just want to whip it around, you know, like a teenager. You want to freaking just kind of take your time, let the buffer do its thing. And you can start to see we're getting a little bit of marks on there. So, I think that means that was pretty good. So let's take our cloth. And just a nice clean rag, and we're gonna wipe this stuff off here. Let's see if I can find, what I'm looking for are some of these sanding marks, guys. I'm trying to show you guys what we're trying to get out. And I'm just not seeing it yet. It's gonna show up, so bear with me here. As soon as I find something to show you guys, I will. Let me just keep working on this thing. We gotta have sand. It's impossible to not have sandy marks that I can show you. You guys can see the clarity is just awesome. This is what people are paying for. They want to see that beautiful top that, again, they can, like, women can do their makeup in it. They just love shiny, shiny color. Okay, still looking, still looking, still looking. Yeah, I don't see, that is not possible. There's always sanding marks somewhere. Okay, wait a minute, maybe we got one here. Okay, here we go. Okay, cool. I got something I can show you guys. Here we go. You guys that are still here, I appreciate it. I hope I'm showing you something that's of interest to you. Okay, we're gonna have to use the light. Bear with me. Okay, here you go. I can try and get this in the light. Hold on, guys. We're gonna see it. It's gonna happen. Okay, here we go. So I can walk it. Okay, there we go. All right. So if you guys look, I'm sorry, this is really difficult. Do you guys see this right along here? You kind of see it. These are swirl marks from our sander. It's kind of hard to see. Sorry, but right in here. This is what we have to get out. So what we're gonna do now is we gotta go back to our buffing compound, and we're gonna buff this one section and get those swirl marks out, and then go back over with our buffing, our machine polish. So, but again, it's right there. It's just, man, it's just so hard to see, guys. Sorry about that. I'm not quite sure what to do there. So, okay, so we're gonna keep going. All right, so I'm gonna finish my machine polish, and I'm gonna go back with my buffing compound, the first thing we were using. We're gonna hit the areas where there are any sanding marks, then we're gonna go back over with the machine polish, and then I'll show you guys the final step, which is the actual polish that makes all of the, just brings up the next level of clarity. Let's go. You guys can probably see it. It's kind of jerking a little bit. This is okay. I'm trying to clean up all this extra shit that I have on there. When you don't have that compound, it heats up much faster. And again, I'm emphasizing the heat thing because I don't hear enough people talk about it. And it's the one thing you can really control just by stopping, feeling the temperature of your surface, and getting comfortable with how hot you can go before you end up with problems, okay? So, this is an $8,000 finish. This is what everybody wants, okay? So this actually looks awesome. And I said I was gonna go back through and hit that one spot, but man, it is so hard to see. This is actually one of the better finishes that I've done lately. I'm not trying to brag, but this thing is pretty awesome. Okay, let's just go ahead and do the last polish. Ah, there's one right there. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys this real quick. I'm not gonna fix it. I'm gonna just finish this video and show you guys the last part of the step. That way you guys will know all the steps, you know exactly how I do this, and you can try and put me out of business. Okay, let's flip this thing around here. I'm gonna try it one more time to show you guys what I'm looking for. There was the old one. There's one more. Hold on, here we go. Okay, let's see if you guys can see this one. All right, I think this might show up a little better. Okay, see all this right along here? You can see it just faintly. The video doesn't pick it up very well, but there's some swirl marks just like this. So anyway, that's the stuff that we need to get out. But I want to respect your guys' time. What are we at? We're at 83 minutes. 53 or 83? I guess it's 83. Okay, good. Everyone's just watching, so no questions, so that's good. Okay, last part of this, and then you guys can go about your day, because I'm sure you got other things to do than watch Eric do finishes. All right, let's grab. So this is actually kind of a shitty pad. You guys see all the little bit of tearing on there? Not a big deal, but we're gonna go ahead and use this for our final polish, okay? And this is the 3M pad. I've been using the Turbo Bug pads. All right, last product. I shouldn't even talk about these guys. These guys are such dicks to me. We were gonna do a partnership with them because we use so much of their product, and they wanted to give me some bullshit fucking affiliate code, and we're like, fuck off. We're not doing your stupid affiliate codes. You can pay us to market your product, but this is a live stream, so I'm gonna show you guys. This is chemical, guys. They make great product, okay? This is your butter wet wax, you know, say it 3 times real fast. I love this stuff. It smells great, it's green, it looks cool. It's the best product I've ever used. I use it on all my finishes. I give it to all my customers. It's an amazing product, you guys. So again, you're in the live streams here. It's not like people are gonna watch this stuff too much, but this is the thing you want. They sell it in smaller quantities. We use it by the gallon. You know, I could probably buy this by 5 gallons at this point, but it's fantastic. Okay, so this stuff it has a consistency of, again, like watery toothpaste, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and, you gotta be very careful pouring it out. It just wants to come out in globs, but they're like really, watch it when it hits the surface, it just splatters. Probably do 2 of these. You don't need very much of it. And it goes everywhere. But it goes everywhere because it's freaking awesome. All right, so, same thing before. I'm just gonna slow it down. And there it goes. Not trying to use a ton of it. All over the place. And I'm gonna go over the entire surface, all right? So I'm gonna spread this stuff around here. I'm not worried about scratching my surface. It's not gonna happen, okay? And I'm gonna go righty here. All right, here we go. I'm doing this because I'm just trying to work the polisher out. We're probably gonna end up with some of it smearing a little bit. We'll wipe it all off. Not a big problem. But what this is doing is just pulling out all the hazing from the last finish that we used, the machine polish. You gotta watch your corners. You can always go in and hand buff stuff, but be very careful around your corners. If you burn through once, and you can burn through with polish, you burn through once, not only you're out all of the time you spent doing this, but then you gotta repaint the thing. Last couple of steps here, and voila. One last wipe job here. Anything that's any residual material that's left. And again, this stuff almost has like a, it almost seems like a slightly oily finish. I don't know how to describe it. Just take my word for it. It's a good product. It's just the people that run it are cheap. Actually, I can still see just a tiny bit, but that's what you guys are going to get today, okay? Let's look at our finish. We'll go through if there's any final comments. Here you go, guys. Here is the final product. Flip it around here, okay? So you look at it in the light, it's gorgeous, right? So let me pull my thing up here. I can do this without dropping my phone, right? So you guys, here you go. You can see yourself in the finish, right? It's beautiful. You can see my dirty ceiling, and of course you can see me. This is what everyone wants. So I hope you guys have learned something today, and anyone that stuck around, I appreciate it. This is, like I said, we're the Resplendent Crow. We do these high gloss lacquered finishes. We're known for it. It's all we do, you know. So I think the live stream is pretty good. It looks like we've got 16 likes, and we got 5 people left in the stream, I think. So if anyone has any questions, like I said, you can put them in the comments later on. I appreciate everyone hanging out with me this morning and learning how I do these high gloss lacquered finishes, how I fix these high gloss lacquered finishes. There's a couple of videos on my website if you want to go back and watch them. I think you'll be able to go back and watch this in like an hour or so. It'll be on the feed. I can do other kinds of content if you guys want, but this is all we do. I don't sell you guys courses. I'm gonna try to sell you guys t-shirts and coffee cups and steak knives and all the other shit that people try and sell you. We just try and show you guys how to do this kind of stuff, learn real things, and have real conversations for real people that run businesses. It's really important to me that we get real people doing these streams and showing people what it's like to run these companies. I think we need more people in the United States running small businesses, making things, selling things to other Americans, hiring Americans, using American products, and showing people how it's done, okay? That's my thing. I preach it to everyone all the time. People get tired of hearing me say it, but I appreciate everyone hanging out with me. It's a big deal that people watch this kind of stuff. And again, I appreciate everyone taking their time to hang out with me. Last comment here from Chrysler George. What furniture did I win? Yeah, again, no one's winning furniture just by being in my stream. So I said I'm going to give away, I probably give away a couple pieces of furniture. So again, I tell people in my streams lately, go to theresplendentcrow.com. Look at the furniture. Find some furniture you think you might like, your wife might like. Again, most of my stuff is for women. Find some pieces, put them in the comments. And the next week or two when I'm doing these videos, put the kind of furniture you'd like in there. I'll probably pick a person. I might pick 2 people. I might give some furniture away. You know, I got several people that have been following me for a long time. Definitely want to do something nice for those people. But like I said, I don't have t-shirts. I don't have coffee mugs. I don't have bullshit from China. I got real American-made furniture made by real people right here in St. Louis, Missouri. And it's the real deal, guys. So you guys have a great day. Chrysler George, man, I appreciate you hanging out. Again, watch the streams. Keep watching the feed. And put the furniture in the comments. Like I said, I'll probably give something away to somebody, and I'll make a big deal about it. So you guys have a great weekend. I'll yak to y'all later.